I'll start. Helen Pawlowski, the staff support.
Denise Terry.
This is Rajesh Kaplishwari.
This is Jordan Brewster.
This is Amber Baker.
This is Leah Lavin.
And I think I saw, yes, there he is. Welcome, Lee.
Thank you. How are you all?
Good. Join Justin. All right. So with that, we have a quorum actually for the first time, I think, since April. So because of that, we haven't had any official notes from meetings since then, because we need a quorum in order to take official minutes. And so because of that, what we'll do this meeting is approve the April minutes. I know that I did not send those out ahead of time, which is my mistake. And it's been a while since I have sent those out, but if we could, my computer is being a little slow. So if you do have the ability to find those it would have been an email I sent in June if you wanted to take time to review those. But otherwise, if anybody wants to make a motion to approve that.
So I had read it in June and I remember wanting to approve it. So I'll make the motion to approve it. But if you want, we can take the vote in 15, 20 minutes, give a chance for people to review it if they want to.
Seconded.
Okay.
All right, great. All right, well, that sounds good. Is everybody in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, anybody opposed? I'm gonna take the silences as approvals for now. Okay, sounds good. All right, so the April minutes have been passed. I will be uploading those to our website tomorrow then for official record. Then with that, we have wrapped up most of the official business that has been on our plate for a while. And just as a reminder, that was mostly the annual report from your committee. And so that will be going to the general government city council meeting that will be held on October 12th. Right now that is set to start at 4:30 p.m. It will be live streamed on our city's YouTube channel. If anybody wants to tune in and look at that, we don't have the agenda yet, so I'm not sure at what point in the meeting we will be presenting, but that agenda should be released, I believe, tomorrow. So we can update you all then. But yes, you can still plan to tune in. That, like I said, that meeting starts at 4:30, and I'll also be presenting a few of our Office of Sustainability reports. So just a lot of reporting going on next Tuesday if you wanted to catch that. And again, if not, I will be sending out those reports after that meeting to you all anyways, just for review, especially as they are our annual sustainability report with some of our internal greenhouse gas numbers. So you all can take a look at that. So I do plan to send those out, but you can catch the presentation next week if you want. And then with that, we'll go ahead and just move on to our new business agenda item. Yeah, Raj.
A quick question. On October the 12th, is this just a presentation or will there be any action items, voting, or any other business from the members?
Yeah, it's just updates, just a report out. So the annual report from you guys. So Sarah will be presenting what was included in that annual report. And then I'm just presenting on some requested numbers and data and greenhouse gas numbers and things like that. So yeah, it's just an information item just to bring it to the attention of City Council. But yes, there will be no action on anything. So yeah, moving on to the new business, this is a chance for anyone to bring up any points, any information that they would like to share with the committee, any questions. Like I said, because we've sort of nicely wrapped up last year's work in the annual report, this is a chance to introduce any new ideas, new points, or even for some of our subcommittees to maybe bring some of their work to the whole group that we can work on together maybe.
So I'll probably give other people to bring up points first, but if not, I have 4 or 5 points that based on a meeting with a council member, I have some points. But first we'll see. I don't want to take up all the air.
Well, I do want to take a few minutes just to get some clarity and see if I'm going in the right direction. So as far as the Green Subcommittee, we are looking for organizations and entities locally and around that are working toward that effort. Am I correct?
Yes, so you all, based on the one meeting that you all have had that has been official, I believe that is the direction that group was going. I will also take this time to remind everyone that ultimately what this whole committee and all of the subcommittees of it are meant to do is just provide recommendations to council on things. So you can do that work and look for those groups with the ultimate goal being, to recommend to council or maybe to just bring the work of those groups to the attention of council, but with no official action being taken by ourselves as an entity.
Okay, so there's a few things that I've come across just because I'm in that environment. So Eric Mathis is doing regenerative agriculture and that kind of thing. And the greenhouse, it's I guess it's a nonprofit. I don't know. But they have actual products. They have vegan products. Okay, you know about these places too. And the Green for All, when they came, I'm trying to get an understanding better about what they do, what they can possibly provide, or maybe the education kind of thing. There's a couple of green cleaning companies in the area, and then the hydroponics project that is with Goler is trying to get some life with Share. So I'm kind of in the mix with that too, hoping that those two entities can come together and actually that they may need some support there. So that's just what I know, and I don't know if that's what I'm supposed to be sharing, but I think maybe that's what I could share today.
Yeah, that's great, and I'm glad that you mentioned a lot of those groups, Denise. It reminds me of something that I honestly cannot remember if I have updated this group on or not at this point, but my office, my department is now overseeing the food resilience work and the Think Orange campaign. This was a recent decision. There has been someone there in that role serving that role since 2018. But that role is now a part of my department. And we are actually in the process of hiring someone new who will report directly to me. And so this also moves the Urban Food Policy Council under the Office of Sustainability Oversight as well. And so I will be becoming more familiar with all of those groups, Denise, but we will have someone in the role shortly who will really be acting as our main point of contact from the city side of things. So we may be able to help, keep you all in the loop, but also open up some doors maybe to collaborate with the Urban Food Policy Council on any of that work, because again, a lot of those groups are more food and agriculture focused. Mm-hmm. That already is what that Urban Food Policy Council does a lot of work on. But yes, I'm glad you brought that up, because that is something that I think in the future could be a potential partnership between this committee and that council. Or not, I don't want to push you all in any one direction, and perhaps maybe just a subcommittee of this group does that. But yes, those are all great organizations to be aware of, and they're definitely doing some great work that we are also in the city aware of, and we'll have somebody hopefully working on more closely with too.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Denise.
Well, I was going to quickly bring up a couple items. There have been some high school kids, I guess, protesting climate change and all that next to the city hall at noon. I don't know, Helen, if you've seen them around, but they have a website, and they're trying to gain momentum, trying to get action. And
can you share a little bit about what, like action on what?
On climate change, from the city, county, state, teenagers are very, very aware and very worried actually about climate change. And
We all are.
I think they got some sort of license to protest on noon on Fridays. So I don't know if they've been out there already or not, but they did approach me on what we do, what we've done, where we are going. And one of the things was I was going to ask the committee and you if in the next meeting, if somebody wanted to come and talk to the committee or express their comments, would we have a chance to do that, like say 3 minutes or 5 minutes or something at the end of the meeting. I did tell them about the YouTube channel. They can go access all our minutes of meetings, and they can see the resolution. So that's where we are. And but if they have comments or if they have questions, then I wonder if there is a place for them to come talk.
I would recommend that they reach out to me directly. I actually haven't heard from this group at all, which, considering that apparently they are striking in front of our city hall and have been in contact with you, but I haven't heard from them. I find that maybe a good first step to take since, I'm actually the one doing the day-to-day work on this, me and my office. But yes, so these meetings, all board and committee meetings are open to the public in that they are open for viewing. However, because we are not city council members, nor do we have city council members sitting on our committee, we do not have a public comment period. So what I would recommend is that those kids or high schools, teenagers, whoever it is, reach out to me, share their thoughts. I'm happy to condense that and just share sort of a summary or maybe some of the main points with this committee in the next meeting. But yeah, I am more than happy to speak with them. Again, I'm a little surprised I haven't heard from them already directly. But yes, that is what I would recommend this group does.
Yeah, they apparently have, I know they've reached out to council members, and they were gonna approach the council to make a comment in the actual city council meeting. So that's when I said maybe starting point would be in our little committee, and then and go on to the bigger place. But
yeah, all are good, especially because we don't meet as frequently as city council. So I definitely that's still a possibility for them for sure, especially if they want to have it happen sooner than December at this point.
Right. So I'm gonna, if they reached out to me, I'm gonna say that there is no place over here to come and comment, but they can reach out to you.
Yes, I'm more than happy to feel.
And I think it is a school district-wide young environmentalists. I don't know exactly what their name is, but I do have, they did email me their website. So I do have that, and I can forward it to you. So that was one item. The second one was long ago, last March, I think, I had reached out to the county since they had also passed the resolution for clean energy. I asked them what they were doing and if they had an advisory committee or how they were, making progress towards this thing. And Minor Barnett is the person I talked to. And he had indicated that this fall he was going to try to convene an advisory committee. And I don't know if they've done anything on that or not, but one of the thoughts was, is there any merit in combining this committee with some more people from outside Winston-Salem and expanding it to advise the county as well?
So that's not on the table. I am a city department. You all are a city committee. The departments and the committees that are city county come from departments that are city county. And that involves much more than just saying city county. That involves funding from both. That involves oversight of both. It involves, it's just a much more involved way of working than what we have been set up to do. So that would still be up to Minor and the folks over there who I also know and have been in contact with regarding all of these things. We have a good working relationship, but this is not something that would become a city-county effort.
Okay. So there is a chance that they will look for an advisory committee as well, and there might be overlap with some people, or maybe at least the goals, overall goals of what we're trying to achieve. So that was my second item that I had. Let's see. I know there's been some ARP funds, but they have been kind of earmarked for mortgage assistance and utility assistance, I guess, as part of the COVID thing. And none of it is actually going towards anything green, just because the earmark.
I'm going to stop you. That has not been decided yet.
Oh, that hasn't been decided. Okay.
What you're seeing is the small portion of funding that has been decided yet and has been designated, but that does not mean that nothing else is going toward. It just hasn't been decided yet.
Okay. Is there a timetable for that?
There is not. All I know is that we have submitted our ideas as city departments. City council has the comments from the public, as well as our internal team. So they're working on it, but because we don't have to spend this money until December 2026, it doesn't need to be decided or designated, I want to say, until the end of next year. And so this is going to be a long and ongoing process. And because everybody wants a piece of this money, it's really, up to our internal team, up to our city council members to figure that out, likely in conjunction with our county commissioners as well, to make sure that that money goes to a wide variety of folks. But that has not been decided yet. What you have seen is just a small amount that has already been designated for affordable housing, because that has been deemed as one of the highest needs in the city.
Right. So one of the thoughts I had was people who are going to be getting assistance for, say, mortgage or utility payments, those could also be the people who might benefit from some funding towards, say, replacing old refrigerators, old air conditioners. So that is sort of a green step, but also helps people in reducing their utility costs. So yeah, those would be a common goal.
That has been proposed.
Okay, good.
But I don't know anything beyond that. I don't know if it has been discussed. I don't know if it's been seen even, but it's been proposed. Okay,
because what I'm reading in the newspapers across the country is not many people have been able to spend that money, and that's kind of a surprise to me.
Well, it's because it's still so early on, and because the deadline is 5 years away, we want to make sure we spend it right. And I'm sure every other city and county and municipality in the country agrees.
Right. And as always, I would I would love to just kind of be on record saying that we should have a shovel-ready projects, because if this new infrastructure bill passes, may not be 3.5 trillion, but 2 trillion or 1.5 trillion, there will be a lot of funding available for green and fighting climate change, and having a lot of projects sort of shovel ready, ready to go would be beneficial to us in the city over here. So I'm not sure. I mean, I'm sure you guys are working on a plan, but I haven't been able to see any details. So I'm just kind of, just thought in my mind.
Now, when you say, I mean, is there any particular area, like transportation, for instance, that you would want? I mean, because here's what I'm seeing is a good opportunity for either the committee as a whole or our subcommittees to at least put together something that might be able to go to council and say, here are the top recommended things from this committee for any kind of federal funding opportunities that come our way outside of ARPA. So, because I think that could, be something that maybe you and Lee as a transportation subcommittee brainstorm on, or like I said, that this can be something that the whole committee contributes to, sort of putting together this list of recommendations for city council, again, if that kind of money were going to come our way.
Right.
Well,
and that is exactly, I was going to suggest here.
Yeah, I was hoping that the transitioning transportation option within the city, in particular the policies regarding alternative fuel and EV vehicles, I was hoping that was still on the table, because I think whenever there is a demand, when there's not enough reliable charging stations with the number of EVs being purchased, I would think that would be, policies regarding those charging stations, where they are, or even, connection fees within public space, versus, private space, policies regarding those type things, the number of charging facilities to meet the, purchase demand. So I still think that's a good area to tease out and to dig into as well.
Absolutely, Lee. Yes, thank you for bringing that up too, because that could be grouped in there, because a lot. So the best practices are really across the country, but especially the Southeast as well, as to put these policies in place before just going out and buying a lot of stations or just infrastructure, whatever it is. So and we don't have any policies like that. So that could absolutely be a part of that. Thanks, Lee.
Okay, so proposing projects would be the next step, I think, for anyone that wants to work on the clean and renewable energy resolution that was passed a year ago, because that could be, how do we achieve those goals by 2030 that were proposed? And if there are any projects and prioritization of the projects, and perhaps, some sort of funding earmarks, that could be something that we could recommend. And, before we slap solar panels on buildings, I would always say, let's look at energy efficiency first. So whatever we can do to save energy, replace lights, replace air conditioning, that kind of stuff. So I don't think we have a subcommittee for that, but I'd be happy to kind of get 1 or 2 people or 3 people working with me on that one. That could be something we could work on.
Quick clarification, like a subcommittee on energy efficiency, or
yes.
what would you call that?
Yes, that was the Clean Renewable Energy Subcommittee, because the reason we did not have a subcommittee, because the first year we worked on that resolution. So we got a milestone, or we achieved a milestone. So we came to a halt there. And then we had the tree committee, recycling, green jobs, and then transport.
Right. I just wanted to make sure that I captured the name of, or the work you were trying to do in that subcommittee.
Right. So it's just furthering the goals proposed in the resolution.
Yeah, and so if we want right now, and because we have quorum today, you can propose a motion to create that subcommittee and just sort of see if anybody else is willing to join. If we wanted to make it an unofficial, official, still ad hoc, of course, but we could do that. Or we could still discuss this idea further if other folks wanted to share their thoughts about that.
And the interesting thing about the resolution was pretty much all the work that all the other subcommittees right now are doing go directly towards it, because in that resolution, we had proposed 50% carbon reduction for buildings and fleets, city fleets. So some sort of electric transportation was part of that. It was also talking about spending energy, time, money, staffing time towards green jobs. So there was one line item that, because of COVID, because of the economic downturn, that we had to focus any of our efforts on the renewable energy part, but with the idea that those green jobs would go to people who are, traditionally who need assistance. So we do have kind of everything interwoven, but I'd love to form a subcommittee. So however we can vote on it or have people work towards it, that would be, I'd like to propose that.
Okay, all right. So then the official motion on the table is to create a new ad hoc subcommittee to focus on the clean renewable energy portion of the resolution. So does anybody second this motion? I think I saw it. Yeah, I saw you, Lee. All right, Lee seconds. All right, great. So.
And you don't have to jump in and say, I'm going to work on it right away. But if you want to, yes, connect with me and
yeah, so
thinking.
Yeah, Raj will be the point of contact for that group. And again, just another reminder, when these subcommittees meet, I just need to be aware so I can take some minutes and take some notes because it is still an official meeting of a group of this of this full committee. So that'll just be something to keep in mind. And I don't know that they officially dissolved, but I believe the recycling subcommittee is dissolved. It got down to one person at one point. So, but yeah, so we're still hovering at 4, potentially 3. I'm not sure what the decision on the tree canopy group was either, but great. So we'll have that. And, this is also a good time for anybody to ask any clarifying questions around, anything they might want to see that subcommittee work on. Just sort of flesh that out now. I mean, we have some time. There's not a lot on the agenda today, but we can sort of just leave that open at any time if we wanted to move on or if anybody wanted to ask anything else as well.
This is Jordan. I have a question. I guess I would like to, I'm new, so I just would like a reminder of what subcommittees there are. I think you kind of just went over them and what their purposes are as well. Yeah,
absolutely. So the Green Jobs and Equity Subcommittee, that's what Denise spoke about a little bit earlier this meeting. And they are working to identify some of the groups that are already working in that space. So working in a space where they are offering green jobs or there are opportunities for folks to learn more about these green jobs. Again, with the intention of sort of just presenting any recommendations about, or just to bring awareness even to these groups. And then there is the Transportation Subcommittee, which right now is Rajesh and Lee. And I have asked them to provide, and Lee mentioned it again tonight, but provide some sort of possible directions for alternative fuel and EV charging station policies for our city, since we don't really have any. This could also be another subcommittee where recommendations come out of, like Rajesh was saying earlier, for just to have some recommendations ready if there were any federal funding to ever come available, things like that. But they're more focused on transportation, more in the alternative fuel and EV side of things. They did review a lot of other ones as well. And I'm happy to share those notes that show exactly what was asked and what those details were. And then the two that are sort of up in the air right now, the recycling subcommittee, they worked briefly on trying to figure out a way to do like a contamination education campaign for the public to just sort of bring more awareness to the proper recycling rules of the city. And then there was the tree canopy group, which they wrote up sort of an unofficial 2-year or so plan for how our city would go about protecting, preserving, and then building the city's tree canopy. So they were pretty specifically focused, but that's just a quick overview. And then, of course, now we have this new clean energy and renewable one.
So I had a quick question about the tree canopy. Is that, say the city wanted to amend the tree ordinance, is that governed by the Dillon rule and it has to come from Raleigh, or can we have our own?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. So right now we have our own, but I believe that there is a bill in the legislature right now that is being discussed about whether that will change or not, which is unfortunate, but we are aware of it. There haven't been any updates on that legislative bill. And so for now, we're sticking with the one that we have locally. The issue was it was just very, very contentious with all of the developers, of course, pushing back against, whatever percentage of the tree save area they wanted or whatever it was. So that's just naturally a more contentious one. But right now it was decided locally. And I'll clarify too that the plan that subcommittee put together was more just regardless of whatever the policy was, sort of the steps to take to just generally preserve and protect and then increase the tree canopy. There wasn't a specific goal listed in what they put together. So there wasn't like by 2030, we want 50% tree canopy in the city or anything like that too.
Right. Yeah, because all we can influence right now is what the city can do on their properties. I suppose the way to kind of multiply that effect would be to mandate it for, beyond the city property into residences or other, commercial properties. But yeah, that is kind of the intent, because the city is only responsible for what was it, 2% of the carbon footprint of the. So we have very, very little really potential to make a huge change, except being the shining, leader of the community. And talking about that leadership, I was wondering if we could partner with some of the big consumers, power consumers, or carbon generators in the area, to influence them to sign similar resolutions. And I know that would be kind of, you can mandate it, but you can, I don't know how that works. If Mr. Mayor goes and shakes hands and says, please jump on board with us, I don't know how that, but we have Winston-Salem State University, we have Salem College, Wake Forest, all the schools that we have.
Right.
People.
So I will say that there are one or two of our larger local companies that already report to the CDP platform. I believe Hanes Brands is one of them. But as for those, that's getting, I think it's towing the line on the same sort of issue as the building code stuff. So yeah, that is not something that we would be able to mandate, like you said. But I also am not sure that Wake Forest is not already reporting, and I'm almost sure they are. To what, I don't remember. There's so many different options out there for reporting platforms, but I'm quite sure that Wake Forest is doing it at least. But yeah, that would be, it could be worth an effort to make a recommendation again to City Council to say, we have an opportunity with X number of local universities and colleges beyond just, the four-year colleges and universities we have here, but including Forsyth Tech, Carolina University, the other ones. But there's definitely an opportunity there to at least recommend more academic partnerships.
And what politician wouldn't love to kind of say, hey, we have so many people that have joined our leadership. And that's what I'm trying to see. If, there is a way to kind of get this movement going where we get people to join our efforts in the city here. Oops, we lost Helen, I think.
Sorry, I'm still here. I just had to go off for a moment.
Okay, sorry. So since Jordan is new, I was going to ask Jordan, do you have interests in any of these subcommittees we talked about, or would like to jump on all of them or none of them, or where is your passion so we can see what we can help each other with?
Yeah, they all sound really interesting to me. I think, I was trying to decide that for myself, which one that I might want to join. I think, the clean energy one, the new one, I think that one would be exciting to be a part of, as well as the green jobs and equity. I think that looks like it's working on some interesting stuff.
And there was just something that came to my mind. There is a nice exhibit right now in the Forsyth Central Library about redlining. And it has a lot of examples about our city and the different regions that were redlined. And I spent a couple hours there, and it was eye-opening to me. Very emotional reading all that. The presentation material is a little kind of, a lot of words, but it is very interesting. And all these equity items came to the surface. And what motivates me now from the sustainability point of view is the redlined areas are also the ones that have the disproportionately affected from air and water pollution, noise pollution, lack of trees, all those issues as well. But it's an interesting exhibit down in the auditorium section of the library, and it's open all the time. So I recommend people going and taking a look, and maybe something else will trigger for this subcommittee of ours, the equity subcommittee, that has to do with infrastructure. Perhaps, I don't know exactly where it might go. It might be trash recycling, tree planting, any of those things. But ideas definitely will bubble up after seeing that exhibit. So very interesting.
I just want to go back to the Green Jobs Committee right quick again, since we do have just a few minutes. As I have said before, I'm new to this kind of thing, and I'm learning, and I may not be on the right track sometimes, but trying to get an understanding. I think we haven't met, and I think I may be working with Sarah and Leah, if I'm correct, on this committee. And I really would like to move forward with what I understand is we're supposed to be making some recommendations of some organizations and agencies that we feel are doing the work. I really need to know what I'm doing.
Yeah, so that is definitely something that can be fleshed out more in a subcommittee meeting. I'll say this now, anybody on a subcommittee can call a meeting. It doesn't have to be dependent on one person. Again, just really the point there being that as long as I'm aware and can join in, anyone can do that. So I don't know that I made that clear before, and I apologize if not. But yes, so anyone can call those subcommittee meetings, and the details of the work being done, I think, can be fleshed out, I think, more so in those meetings, just so we can make sure that it fits the kind of work you all want to do. I don't want to make a broad statement here and have it maybe apply more to one group than another, or maybe miss out on any nuances that maybe I overlooked. So
So if I sent an email out, I would send an email out to you and I think Sarah, Leah, was it anyone else that was interested? I don't know if Jordan is now maybe interested to maybe get together and meet and kind of talk about what direction we're going in. And okay, so those would be the folks. Anyone else that anyone wants to mention that I should include in the email?
Please do include me. Thanks.
Will do. Yeah, well, thank you. That helps. I will take action on that and see if we can't maybe figure out where we're at. Appreciate it.
Yes, and I can also help and provide a Zoom link for that meeting too.
Great, okay. I will send an email out. Thanks.
Perfect.
Thank you, Denise. That's great.
Helen, I had a question for you, and this is about the governor's recommended budget that I came across. This was the 2021-23, it's called REC, Environmental something or the other. But I have a one-page copy, I think, and I don't know if you're the one who sent me or where I got it, but they have.
Yeah, so the state still hasn't passed their budget.
Okay.
So I don't have any more updates. Yeah, I believe that the state Senate did, and I think it's in the state House, last I heard. Yeah.
They are actually conferencing on the budget now. So the hope is to get the conference budget to the governor in the next couple of weeks. So we'll see how that goes.
Yes, thanks, Amber. Representative.
It's okay. It's all right. But Rob, if you want to see it, I mean, it's you can always go to the leg.gov site and pull down a copy. But it's like almost 700 pages. So happy reading.
So I have just a one-page summary of it, and there's a lot of money, but of course for the whole state. And the four big items are safeguarding and improving access to our natural resources, advancing clean energy development and business, protecting clean air, clean water, and then the overall, I guess, investing in clean, healthy North Carolina. And it seems like it's over $474 million that were proposed originally. And I'm wondering if they have some ideas about our equity and jobs in that part that we could kind of look at it and think about it, like jobs for weatherization or putting solar panels or,
At this point, I would assume so, just because that's also the direction the federal government has gone, to really heavily include equity and sustainability in a lot of what they're funding now. So I imagine that the state would follow suit there.
Okay.
Rajiv, I know.
That is part of the governor's plan, but keep in mind he's at the mercy of,
Yes.
bodies who are not always supportive towards clean energy, that whole sustainability piece. So that's kind of, what we're up against. So, but I do know that the governor, that is part of his overall plan. And Raj, again, you can contact the governor's office. They will send you his complete vision for where he would like to go in terms of clean energy and the whole piece around that.
Raj, I know I'm not going to read no 300 pages,
No,
but
it's
if you
one
could,
page.
but if you could email me your one page, I will. I'd love to look at that.
Yes. And the only reason I was thinking of that was, if the feds, the state, and then of course our city, if we are all thinking about the same thing, maybe instead of reinventing the wheel, they might have some ideas that would, help us kind of put very specific policies or something in the city, instead of kind of trying to imagine. And I have no idea how government works, except for what we're trying to achieve here. So this is, and I'm so glad that Representative Amber Baker is over here with us, helping us understand the sausage making there in Raleigh. But yeah, there might be ideas for us to run on and kind of.
I would also recommend taking a look at other cities' policies. I know that as far as sustainability related policies, whether it be EVs, alternative fuel, you name it, there's plenty of examples out there already, I'll say, for us to take a look at. So I would, they exist for sure. If I can find some, I can send you some of those to maybe start with. But yeah, there's definitely enough for us to be able to take some from other folks at this point. We definitely would not have to reinvent any kind of new policy for anything at this point almost. So yeah. Okay, well.
Cleveland action plan that I really love, the way they had presented everything. I don't know, Helen, if you've seen it. It's very graphically represented, so it makes the reading very easy, quick, and fun. So I can forward that to all the committee members that we have right now. And when are we going to get new committee members? Is there a timeline or?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's sort of an ongoing rolling appointing process. It just depends on the applications that we've had. And so because of that, we haven't had an opportunity yet, but I plan to do so in the next month or two to push it out on social media to really try to draw some attention to it, because all of this sort of quietly happened. There wasn't a lot of advertising done for new applicants for this committee. So I think that there is one name out there already on the table, according to our mayor's office, but I don't know the name of that person, the timeline of that. But yes, and I'll go ahead and take this opportunity. I was hoping that Sarah was going to be able to make this call this evening. But to let you all know, she has decided to step down as the chair of this committee. And so because of that, in the interim, I, like tonight, will be leading the meetings in the foreseeable future. But I will keep you all updated, both with new members and any updates around the situation with this chair being vacant now. But just to let you all know, that was recently decided, but she does still plan to join the council meeting on Tuesday to present the report that you all helped her put together. But yeah, so just to let you all know about that update.
So will she still be involved with the committee and just not in that position?
So that's something that I will have to work with the mayor's office on, because she was appointed as the chair, not as a representative from any particular ward or university. And so because, there's not an obvious place for her to go at this point, I'm not sure how that transition will work. But that's definitely one of the things that I will be asking about, since that's going to be an important question to have answered, of course, before going too much further. But yeah, I'm not going to say definitively one way or the other though right now.
Okay. My other question, I think I'm breaking up a little bit. You are looking for new members?
Yes. And I will say, though, that, again, a reminder, we appoint by ward. And so we're looking right now, I want to say the vacant wards are currently the Northwest. There's a university seat open now since Dane has had to rotate off. And then that may be it, because Jordan actually filled in one of our is it Southwest, Jordan? I don't remember. I can send you guys the details, because I thought it was more than 2, but for some reason I can only remember 2 of them right now.
So we have 8 members, right? The 8 wards.
8 wards, and then 2 university representatives, so 10 total members, and then a chairperson.
Okay, so that's 11 total. 8 plus 2. Okay.
Yes, and the chair the chair only is not a voting member.
Right.
She, much like our mayor, only votes in the case of a tie. So.
Yeah, the only reason I was asking about the timetable is to see if we should wait a few weeks to start the new year, or should we just try to continue with the.
I think it's a good sign that we got a quorum tonight. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to slow you guys down on that front.
Wonderful. Is there anything else on the agenda, Helen?
Just the updates from me, but I've already shared the one about the food resiliency and then the update for Sarah. I can also share that I plan to have the Lead for Cities certification work submitted to them by the end of next week. So once that's submitted, they will give an initial review, do an initial review, ask for any missing information or any further details. And then we'll figure out what certification we are eligible for. And then just a reminder for folks, this is the Lead for Cities and Communities program through the U.S. Green Building Council. And it's basically the same certification as a LEED building. So a LEED certified silver building, for instance. They have just made this framework available for cities now. And so it's looking at different categories that include energy and greenhouse gas emissions, water efficiency, materials and resources, which is really just category about waste management. And then there's the transportation and land use, the natural systems, and then more general sort of, there's some extra credit if there are some things you're doing that weren't already included in the certification. There are some things that you can get credits for. That's, any kind of regional efforts. So things like that, it's pretty well-rounded, but that's just a quick overview. Greensboro did just get their certification. They, I believe, were silver certified. Charlotte just got a gold certification. Both of these were in the last month and a half or so. So both pretty recent. But I'm hoping that we can reach a silver certification ourselves. But yeah, so that's the update for that project, which has been ongoing for quite some time now. So I'm glad to see the end of that. And
That again? What was that name? What was that called again?
LEAD for cities, and it's LEED. So it's an acronym, but anyways. But then, yeah, other than that, I don't have any additional updates at this time. But again, just keep an eye out. Next week, I like I said, I plan to send those reports once council's had a chance to look at them too. That'll be both the community greenhouse gas report and the annual sustainability report. So there should be some interesting stuff in there for you guys to take a look at too. Maybe even help inform some of the information or background for the new subcommittees. So.
Is there, could you send us just where we can download these documents so it'll be easy? And if you have the lead for cities, just the checklist portion, which has categories or whatever, that way we can see where, and this is what we've achieved already, right? Not what we are planning on achieving in the future.
No, so because we did the STAR certification and because that was it was just a completely different framework, we are essentially starting from scratch. So we don't already have a baseline of where we're starting from. So I can send you a blank one. I don't know if that is really going to be useful or helpful to you at all. So I might just wait until we get that first round of feedback. Because that might just give you, I mean, the blank one's really not going to do
The blank one we can get from the website.
Yeah, right. It's just the same thing. So yeah, no, we are not building on anything for that one. But then yes, I will send you, like I said, I should get the agenda links for that committee meeting, hopefully tomorrow, and I'll send that along to you guys as well, which should have all the attachments. So it should have all of the reports, including this committee's annual report. And it'll tell you where in the agenda we're set to present. So I'll follow up with those once I get that.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Well, at this point, for the sake of time, we're about at 6. I think that there was some good conversation. I'm glad that we had a quorum today. It was good to see so many of you all back at these meetings again. But with that, we'll see if anybody wants to motion to close the meeting. Of course, with the caveat, you all can always send me any questions or concerns, thoughts, anything like that, if you think of anything after these meetings.
Make a motion to close the meeting.
Seconded.
All right, great. Well, thank you guys so much for joining. I will look forward to seeing you all in December, if not before then, at any of your subcommittee meetings.
Thank you.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Thanks, Helen.